Hi everyone, it's Jordan again, and for today I want to read some song lyrics again. I know we do that a lot, but I feel like it's been a couple weeks since we last did it. Anyway, this is a new artist, or at least I should say a new artist to me. I just stumbled upon him recently and heard this song and just completely fell in love with it because it's just a really beautiful reminder and a really beautiful promise that we as Christians get to hold on to. And I want to just speak it over all of you and remind all of you of it today. It is Travis Clark is the singer, and the song is God Who Takes Care of Me. When it feels like I can barely take a breath. When it feels like all I'm hearing is regret. When it feels like all I'll ever be is not good enough, I'll still believe, 'cause I know who watches over me. When it feels like I can't even take a step. When it feels like I'm just failing every test. When it feels like I'm just barely hanging on. He says, God says, I'll never let you go. I'm gonna keep holding on. I'm gonna keep singing this song. I'm gonna keep holding on to you. I'm gonna keep holding on to truth. When I can't find my way, I'm gonna keep walking by faith. I choose to trust you and believe, 'cause you're the God who takes care of me. Do you believe that? Can you confidently sing that with me? That God is the God who takes care of you personally? I know that God takes care of me. I believe that completely with my whole heart. I have a pretty random example of that, of something that just happened a few days ago. It was about 3 days ago, and this huge pine tree fell right here, right where I'm sitting. I'm talking about, you see these trees behind me, these huge trees? It was one of these. I don't know if you can see the little divot in the fence, but that's exactly where it fell. You might be able to see that, you might not, but it came crashing down literally right where I would be sitting and landed right on top of this swing set. And God chose to still take care of me in that moment, because he brought it down during a time when I was not out here, which I am out here all the time. And if I'd been out here taping a vlog or talking on the phone or even just sitting out here relaxing, that would not have been good at all. So that's just a random example that I just had in the last few days of how God took care of me, and it was very, very evident. But also just I look to my health and all throughout my life, how God has taken care of me and brought me through things that statistically I probably should not have gotten through. God's brought me through those things because God has taken care of me. Now, if you're listening to this and saying, yeah, but I didn't get that miracle, I didn't get that healing, I didn't get that provision that I was looking for, does that mean that God is not taking care of me? That's where I want to stop here and be very clear that we don't misunderstand, because I don't want to claim this promise incorrectly. That's not what I'm saying at all. When I say that God's taking care of me, how he chooses to do that is still in his will and is still in his plan. It's not the idea of, if God's taking care of me, then everything is going to go great in my life and I'm going to be protected from all harm. And if God's not taking care of me, then bad things are going to happen, but only then. That's not the idea at all. The idea here is that when the worst of the worst happens, when those bad things happen, do we dare to believe that God is still taking care of us? He is. God is taking care of us every moment. In the good moments when we can clearly, evidently see God's hand protecting us, like with me, or in the bad moments when bad things still happen, when maybe we can't see God as clearly. God is still taking care of us, even in those moments. Because taking care of us doesn't mean that it's going to go according to our plans or our wishes or desires. That's not what God taking care of us means. What God taking care of us means, bad stuff's going to happen, good stuff's going to happen. Whatever's in his will is going to happen. He has a perfect plan for all of it. But that he's still with us. That he's still holding us. That he still loves us in the good and the bad moments. That he's still guiding us. He still has a plan. God is still good and faithful, and he is still the one taking care of us, whether we can evidently see it or not. Do we still dare to believe in every circumstance that God is taking care of us? This song is honestly an anthem, in my opinion, because in the verses he talks about all the bad stuff that he's going through. When it feels like I can barely take a breath and all I'm hearing is regret. When it feels like all I'll ever be is not good enough and I can barely take a step, and on and on. He's talking about all the bad things he's going through in the verses. But then in the chorus, there's a shift that goes on that we pick up on, where now he's focusing not on the bad circumstances anymore, not on the trials, but he's focusing on God's goodness and God's love for him. And he's recognizing, even in that, like we just said, even in that, those moments, God is still taking care of me. And I'm gonna hold to that. When even in those moments, I'm gonna keep going on, he says. I'm gonna keep singing this song. I'm gonna keep holding on to you. I'm gonna keep holding on to truth. I want to pause there because the idea of holding on is something I've been thinking about a lot. A close friend of mine and I just recently wrote some lyrics about the idea of holding on. And in the beginning, we talked about how God is holding on to us. God is always holding on to us, no matter what. And then later on, we shifted and we said, you know what? No matter what happens, I'm going to choose to hold on to God. And it got me thinking that that is a conscious choice that we always have to decide to make. We're always going to be confronted with those bad voices and those bad circumstances and the bad stuff going on in the world that we see and hear and feel. We're always going to be confronted with that bad stuff, but we need to make the conscious choice to lift our focus from that and say, I'm going to keep holding on to you. I'm going to keep holding on to truth. When I can't find my way, I'm going to keep walking by faith. Walk by faith, not by sight. I don't remember the verse. It's 2 Corinthians or 2 Chronicles, but that's a Bible verse. Walk by faith and not by sight. When I can't find my way, I'm going to keep walking by faith. I choose to trust you, God, and believe. I make the conscious decision, no matter what I'm going through, to trust you and believe. You're the God who takes care of me. Let's all try to say that. Let's all try in every moment to just hold on to that. That's a beautiful promise. The God of the universe is taking care of us. How incredible is that? Yet it's so easy for us to not recognize. So let's all really try to rest in that beautiful truth and that beautiful promise that no matter what goes on in the world, whatever craziness you see in the news or in your personal life, that God still got you. God's still in control, God's still faithful, and God is taking care of you. I hope that encouraged you today. God is good all the time. I love you guys. Goodbye.